The MDX's Collision Mitigation Braking System, or CMBS, is included on the Advance package and is a collision warning and mitigation system. CMBS helps reduce the likelihood of a collision by attempting to alert the driver first and can take steps to mitigate the forces of a collision if the system determines one to be unavoidable. ACC, which has to be turned on by the driver, the CMBS default is set to on. However, you can push a button found on the left side of the instrument panel to switch off CMBS. A CMBS off warning will be displayed when the system is turned off. It is recommended that you leave the system in the default on position. Please note that once CMBS has been switched off, it will remain off until the driver switches it on again, even if the vehicle is restarted later. Using the same millimeter wave radar sensor as ACC, CMBS scans up to approximately 330 feet of the road directly ahead. If it determines that a collision is possible, CMBS will alert you with a visual warning by flashing the word brake in the multi-information display on the instrument panel and a series of beeps. This is stage 1 of the 3-stage CMBS alert process. You can respond by braking and steering out of harm's way. If the system calculates that, based on your evasive action, there is no longer any danger of a collision, CMBS will automatically cease the alerts. However, if you do not respond sufficiently to the Stage 1 warnings, CMBS will advance to Stage 2. The system will attempt to alert you via tactile means by tugging on the driver's seatbelt and will begin to apply light brake pressure while continuing the audible and visual warnings from Stage 1. As with the visual and audible warnings, this is your cue to take immediate evasive action. If you still do not respond sufficiently and the system determines that a collision is now likely to be unavoidable, CMBS will engage Stage 3 and apply strong brake pressure in an attempt to reduce the severity of impact. It will also strongly retract the front seatbelts to help better position the front occupants for the collision. Please note that depending on the closing rate of your vehicle and the vehicle ahead, in some instances, CMBS may automatically engage Stage 2 without going through Stage 1, and can even engage Stage 3 without going through one or both of the first or second stages. Keep in mind that CMBS will not bring the MDX to a complete stop. While it can help mitigate crash impacts, it is not a collision avoidance system. You must intervene by stepping on the brake pedal or steer away from any potential obstacles. Also, CMBS will not engage if your MDX is traveling under 10 miles per hour or if the speed difference between your MDX and the vehicle ahead is less than 10 miles per hour. While CMBS is an extremely advanced safety technology, it is not a substitute for attentive defensive driving. The system does have limitations, and it will not detect all possible obstacles. For example, the system will not detect pedestrians in your path, and may not detect small vehicles such as bicycles and motorcycles, among others. Generally speaking, the millimeter wave radar is more likely to detect broad reflective surfaces, in particular metallic surfaces, than narrow non-metallic objects. Similarly, CMBS needs an adequate amount of time to detect obstacles. As such, it might not detect another vehicle that crosses suddenly into your path, such as at an intersection or a blind corner, or if another driver were to cut you off on a highway. Extra caution should also be taken when making your way in bumper-to-bumper traffic, a common source of rear-end collisions. As previously mentioned, CMBS does not function if traveling under 10 miles per hour. Conversely, CMBS might deliver a false warning. For example, if you pass another vehicle too closely, or if the system detects another vehicle in your path that is closing in rapidly, the system might sense that a collision is imminent, even though the vehicles are unlikely to make contact. Another possibility is if you enter a sharp curve and the sensor detects a large metallic object, like a road sign or a pole, in the side of the curve. It might also deliver a false warning when driving over rectangular-shaped speed bumps at more than 10 miles per hour, as opposed to more conventional rounded bumps, or when you're headed downhill and you encounter train tracks at the bottom of the hill, among other possible scenarios. Finally, you should be aware that if the sensor requires service, the message Check CMBS radar sensor will appear in the MID. For example, it could be covered with dirt, preventing it from working properly. If cleaning the millimeter wave radar grill cover does not clear the warning, be sure to have it checked by an authorized Acura service technician as soon as possible. CMBS is an impressive safety innovation, but it's no substitute for safe driving. As always, control of the vehicle remains the driver's responsibility. Failure of the driver to take action could result in a collision. For complete operating details of CMBS, be sure to consult your MDX owner's manual.